All right, so looking at some Power 25 Week 1 notes, do you guys have anything that stands out to you? I mean, normal community, Drew. I'm sure you'll touch on that later. They earned a win at the Kickoff Classic over a Power 25 team, and you were at that game. But, I mean, really, any other notes or anything you guys want to mention on the week?
It's still very early.
Yeah.
Like we didn't update it this week for a reason. Some teams played 2 games. Some teams actually got to play 5 games. Some teams played no games at all last week, depending on where they're situated in the state and fields and whatnot. So it's still very early. I feel like, hopefully I'm not putting the cart ahead of the horse here, but I feel like next week we'll probably make our first update, but just wanted to reemphasize it's still very, very early.
Yeah, I just love the fact that teams are able to play. Opening week, the weather was good enough. Teams were able to get some games under their belt. And I would say in years past, like the only teams that would play that first week are these teams going on these spring trips. Like Brother Rice going out to Vegas, some of these teams going down to Florida, some going down to Tennessee. Or if they were playing through 30, 40-degree weather and just doing whatever they could to get games in. So it's nice to have, teams that have 5 games, under their belt, all played in Illinois, like an OPRF. You do not see that very often coming off week 1. But yeah, I would think we'll see how the rest of this week looks. And on Sunday, after all these teams play games again this week, we'll take a look at what records look like. And hey, do we have enough sample size to actually make an update that makes sense? Or do we, just talk about, hey, some teams that are on the rise, some teams trending well, some teams that maybe, scuffled to start the season. We'll see. I would love to update it. But either way, super early in the year, not into conference play yet or anything like that. And yeah, I mean, Gavin, you mentioned it. One of the better games I saw at the Kickoff Classic was Normal Community playing O'Fallon. We got a couple like Power 25 matchups so far to start the year. I know Lane Tech has played 2 Power 25 teams and stuff like that. Lincoln Way East had a good win over Downers Grove North. Lincoln Way East is 2-0 on the year, and I mean they took down Colin Doyle in his first start. And I know that's a whole nother thing is like these starting pitchers aren't extended yet, and they shouldn't be. Like, you should not be throwing a starter 7 innings unless they're super efficient and can somehow get 4 or 5 innings. But, like, their arms are not built up yet. So a lot of it, yeah, later in May, when you face Colin Doyle, he may go 7 innings, which changes it because you don't have to get into the bullpen and stuff like that. But I thought that was a nice thing about Kickoff Classic and just any game early in the year is you're seeing a lot of these teams' entire staff. You're not going to watch a game and just seeing one arm. You're seeing, hey, who is their go-to guy out of the bullpen? Do they match up? Do they have lefties that can get lefties out? Do they have to go to nothing but righties? And every team is, a little bit different as far as how they're built and what luxury they have of players that are, in their school district and stuff like that. But no, those are just a couple notes that I had on it, Gavin. I'm sure there's other things you guys want to touch on.
Yeah, I mean, Ottawa Marquette, I mean, they've played some smaller schools, but they've scored 10 runs, over 10 runs in every single game so far. They've only given up 2 runs on the year. Sacred Heart Griffin started off 4-0. They had a Power 25 win over OPRF, but some of these teams for me outside of the Power 25 that I was pretty intrigued by, Muhammad Seymour started out 4-0. They played all out-of-state schools. They must have went on a trip somewhere down south. Who else we got here? Like Tremont started out 4-0, Monticello 4-0, North Clay, we saw them at the Kickoff Classic. They started out 3-0. I thought they were a really interesting team. I'll talk about Jack Compton a little bit later, but East Peoria started out 3-0. Yeah, I mean, pretty good week all around for some of these teams. So those were some of the biggest takeaways for me from the record standpoint.